Next on Nightcast, a new form of heroin is hitting the streets of Boston and other cities with deadly results. In Rome, Pope John Paul leads the faithful in Good Friday observances. And our top story, the Sandinista government admits attacking a Contra camp in Honduras. That story is next on Nightcast.
Live from WBZ TV4, Jack Williams, Liz Walker, Bob Lobel, Bruce Schwoegler, and Joyce Cole-Haywick. This is Eyewitness News Nightcast.
Good evening. Jack Williams is off tonight. Chris Conangla joins me, and here's what's happening. Sandinista leader Daniel Ortega used this Good Friday to say that the Senate approval of aid to the Contras was like the crucifixion of Nicaragua.
The House will consider the Senate package after the Easter recess, so the Ortega comments appear to be a call for the House to stand firm in saying no. And
Ortega now admits that his troops hit a Contra training camp across the border in Honduras. The Sandinistas said there was a 2-week battle at the Contra camp. Sandinistas say they killed 350 Contras while losing 40 of their own troops. The Contras' version of repelling the Sandinista attack has an opposite scoreboard. Today, the people of Nicaragua on both sides paused to observe Good Friday and the crucifixion of Christ, which prompted Ortega's analogy of the crucifixion of Nicaragua by the U.S. Senate.
Liz, Libya's Colonel Gaddafi is listing his claims of victory now that the U.S. Sixth Fleet has pulled back from the Gulf of Sidra. Gaddafi told a huge rally in Tripoli tonight that he has the wreckage of U.S. Navy jets that his forces shot down, plus parts of American missiles that missed their targets and were recovered. The crowd slaughtered an ox with President Reagan's name on it and threatened terrorism against anything American. Threats like that mean beefed up security at places like Logan Airport, a subtle beefing up.
There's a lot being done. The traveling public may not notice anything, and that's what we hope to do. We don't want to have an over-presence, but there are things being done subtly and to strengthen all the aspects of our security program.
Even the most popular tourist attractions in the Mediterranean are not attracting tourists this year. That means for people who don't fear the threats, there are a lot of good deals to be had.
Members of a Boston-based relief agency have just returned from the Philippines with alarming reports of widespread hunger among the peasants there. The delegation from Oxfam America took these graphic pictures of starving children on the rural island of Negros. The children are dying at the rate of 3 to 5 a week. 45,000 children require emergency feeding each day. Observers from Oxfam blame the starvation on plantation owners from the Marcos regime.
The sugar planters and the Marcos government will not implement a program that gives land that is not being planted to the workers so that the workers can produce food.
An Oxfam delegation will go to Washington to urge the government to send emergency relief to the Philippines. Its street name is black tar, and it's the newest form of heroin to show up in the country. It doesn't cost much to buy, but as Eyewitness News reporter Mike Macklin explains, it's costing hundreds of unsuspected drug users their lives.
There's an excitement, there's an attraction to getting a hold of the most powerful heroin at the time.
Yeah, I almost died. Yeah, I stopped breathing.
These recovering addicts are talking about black tar, an unusually powerful yet cheap form of Mexican heroin. It gets its name from its resemblance to roofing tar. It is 10 times cheaper, as much as 40 times stronger than conventional heroin. And federal drug agents say it may have killed hundreds of unsuspecting drug users in the past year.
We're now burying about more than one person every week.
In 12 major cities where black tar is prevalent, heroin overdose deaths have increased 62%. None of the 18 fatal heroin overdose cases in Boston last year have been traced to black tar, but Boston police narcotics detectives say the new deadly heroin is turning up on the streets of the city.
It would be extremely dangerous in the hands of a novice. We seized it as strong as 60%. The average junkie in Boston would be shooting between 1% and 3%.
Black tar is harvested by Mexican farmers from their own poppy crop in northern Mexico. Investigators say illegal immigrants and migrant workers bring it into the U.S. A former user now in rehabilitation at Spectrum House recalls his experience with black tar.
It was less of a rush. It was more subtle, but it was powerful. It was good dope, and you got quite high from it, and it lasted a long time.
At First Incorporated, a rehab house in Dorchester, black tar users have sought help from counselors.
the point that it's about 90% potency is really frightening, because most addicts' tolerance is not up to that level, and there's a potential danger of any addict that comes in contact with a drug that has that greater potency of an overdose.
Investigators describe black tar as a very serious problem that is getting worse. Mike Macklin, TV4 Eyewitness News Nightcast.
Narcotics agents here in Massachusetts say they expect to see more black tar showing up here in the months ahead. A Quincy firefighter pleaded not guilty today to charges he was involved in a failed smuggling of marijuana off Cape Cod last summer. William Morrell was the 9th person arrested in the smuggling case, which began when police found a sunken drug-filled boat off Wellfleet. Divers recovered 600 bales of marijuana worth $20 million in the scuttled boat. According to investigators, Morrell was involved in setting up the smuggling operation from Colombia to New England. Now, Morrell is free tonight, pending a court appearance in 3 weeks. Chris?
In services around the world today, Christians marked their most solemn holy day, Good Friday, the day Jesus Christ was crucified. At St. Columbkille's Church in Brighton, tonight hundreds gathered for a Good Friday Mass. They also reenacted Christ's suffering and crucifixion in a solemn candlelight procession. In Jerusalem, thousands of Christian pilgrims, many carrying wooden crosses, retraced Christ's steps to his crucifixion. Franciscan monks led the annual procession down the so-called Path of Sorrow in Jerusalem's Old City. Some say fear of terrorism kept many away from the annual ceremony. In Rome, Pope John Paul II recalled Christ's agonizing journey to his crucifixion. Carrying a black wooden cross, the pontiff walked through the ruins of ancient Rome into the torchlit Colosseum to make the 14 stations of the cross. The ritual marks the last events in Christ's journey from judgment to crucifixion.
Coming up next on Nightcast, the Democratic Party takes a get tough stand with the Lyndon LaRouche organization.
On Cape Cod, a new report on cancer rates alarms Upper Cape residents. And later on 4, we talk to Mike Eastler about the trade that sent him to the Yankees. Stay with us.
2 cars, same make, model, features. So how do you decide? You check the price. Again, the same. Then what? A closer look at the numbers will prove one car is a far superior choice. 128 Oldsmobile Mazda Isuzu has a greater number of cars available immediately, more mechanics with more years of experience, and more ways to save you money than anyone in New England. Now, when you add up those numbers, things don't look the same, do they?
All kinds of things you use every day are on sale this week at CVS at unusually low prices. Like 100% pure milk chocolate rabbits from Palmer. They're just in time for Easter, and they're just 99 cents each this week. Or hair care products from Vidal Sassoon. Just $1.99 each, minus a $1.50 mail-in rebate at today's neighborhood drugstore. CVS.
How did I get to Moscow? The civilized way, Swiss Air.
Swiss Air from Boston, the civilized way to the world.
Why fool around with 2-day delivery to London? DHL introduces the new Express document, overnight to London. And nobody's faster to the rest of the world. Send up to 15 pages of your vital business around the world, fast and at our lowest prices. Europe, $29, London, $26. Overnight. Why waste any more time? Call DHL for the new Express document. It's fast.
Tonight, the National Democratic Party is warning state organizations around the country to be on the lookout for supporters of Lyndon LaRouche seeking party nominations. Eyewitness newsman Dan Ray reports the warnings follow surprise showings by 2 LaRouche supporters in Illinois earlier this month.
You are looking at the Democratic nominees for Lieutenant Governor and Secretary of State in Illinois, but they are not regular Democrats. They are followers of Lyndon LaRouche. LaRouche is the leader of a growing political cult that defies political description. Once, LaRouche led the left-wing U.S. Labor Party. Today, LaRouche controls more than a half-dozen interconnected political organizations and publications. LaRouche's national newspaper, New Solidarity, spins tales of political intrigue, such as accusing the Anti-Defamation League of some involvement in the assassination of Indira Gandhi. But with LaRouche candidates now popping up on many ballots across the country, 200 people running for various offices in Texas alone, Democratic National Chairman Paul Kirk has ordered state Democratic organizations to check for all LaRouche ballot activities and report back to Washington in 2 weeks, to use legal challenges to get LaRouche candidates off the Democratic ballot, but not to engage them in any public debate. And Kirk went on to call the group a cult, urging more public education about them. Meanwhile, here in Boston, the Boston Phoenix is reporting this weekend that the U.S. Attorney's Office is seeking this man, Michael Gelber. Gelber, a candidate for mayor of Boston in 1983, who won just 207 votes out of more than 170 ballots cast, was a familiar sight at political forums, like this one in Cambridge in December of 1983. According to the Phoenix, Gelber is wanted for questioning about 1984 allegations of credit card fraud involving LaRouche's presidential campaign. Now, Eyewitness News broke the story of possible credit card irregularities committed by people who claimed association with LaRouche's presidential campaign back in 1984. A number of people told Eyewitness News in October of that year that money as much as $1,000 had been charged against their credit card accounts after they had made small book or magazine purchases at tables set up in public areas by LaRouche supporters. And if you happen to run into Michael Gelber, you can let him know that the U.S. Attorney's Office may be looking for him. Liz?
Okay, Dan, so that story that you broke last year is not over yet. Thank you. Chris?
Scientists at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and the National Institute of Cancer are reporting tonight that they are one step closer to developing a way to fight the AIDS virus. The doctors say they have found a way to stop the virus from growing.
What we've managed to do in this work is to absolutely prove that the transactivator gene does stimulate virus replication. And we've shown that if we kill the transactivator gene, we kill the virus. And if we kill the virus, we can kill the disease.
Researchers now hope to find a drug to kill that part of the virus. When that happens, doctors say, they can work more efficiently toward creating a vaccine against AIDS. Residents of 4 Upper Cape towns, including Sandwich, are upset tonight over reports showing their rate of cancer to be 4 times higher than the rest of the Cape. Sandwich, along with Bourne, Falmouth, and Mashpee, are located near Otis Air Force Base. Residents want state action to see if the base is the source of the problem.
I think that the governor ought to make a commitment virtually immediately to a full epidemiological study.
Bob Kilduff, who served on the Water Quality Board, told Eyewitness News reporter Sarah Ann Shaw that the uproar may be more political than medical.
There seems to be some people on the Cape that don't like Camp Edwards or Otis Air Force Base, and they would like to have it removed from the Cape.
Officials at Otis Air Force Base say they have not yet received a copy of the cancer report. Liz?
A grim end tonight to the 3-week-old search for a missing Pittsfield woman. The body of 22-year-old Paula Marie Snyder was found this afternoon in a wooded area of Windsor, Massachusetts. She had been shot twice in the back of the head. It is believed that Snyder was abducted while hitchhiking to work. Witnesses said they saw Snyder get into a green station wagon on the morning of March 8th. That's the day she disappeared. Her body was found 15 miles from where she was last seen alive. A man and a teenager are being held tonight on charges they were behind a series of house break-ins in at least 13 Massachusetts communities. 29-year-old Billy Joe Lovejoy of Brockton and 16-year-old youth, unidentified, were arrested on larceny charges. State police picked up the two along Route 3 in Norwell after pulling over their car, which was reported stolen. In the car, police said they found a number of items reported stolen after a rash of burglaries on the South Shore.
Still to come on Nightcast, Bruce says it'll be a great weekend for an Easter parade.
And in Alaska, residents are on guard against health threats from the Augustine volcano.
All right, Mama, you can watch, but no interference. And that's as low as I can go.
Gee, I don't know.
Oh, give her a break. Mother, that's my final offer.
I can't.
Why didn't you tell her about all those Subarus on the way, you ninny? More Subarus?
Subaru, the New England solution.
Gee, he gave me a great deal. He's really very nice.
He's not nice. He's easy. Mother.
Today's high-compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat can begin to break down an oil immediately. That's why there's Castrol, the only leading motor oil that in every grade provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol before your engine does something to get you heated up. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller car.
Premium quality Castrol motor oils are available at your local Benny's Home and Auto Store.
If you're building a business from the ground up, a growing company, not a seat-of-the-pants operation, And if your need for expansion capital causes you to patronize one of the larger banks of Boston, and if you find that this is your usual borrowing position, maybe you should change banks. U.S. Trust, we're not your average billion-dollar bank.
Just in time for spring. Save over $1,100 on a special edition front-wheel drive Ford Escort L, now with an electric moonroof.
The hills of Alaska are alive with more rumblings of Augustine volcano, which is erupting continuously. The eruptions are spewing huge clouds of gritty ash into the air, and that's causing some respiratory problems on the ground. The few people who venture out near that volcano are wearing gas masks. The eruptions may intensify, which would cause more problems there.
The hills of Alaska are alive with the sound of rumblings.
They wanted to write it into our... I didn't write this. I just try to read them.
For you, the weekend already started. For us, we still got about 13 more minutes.
Yes, you sure? Going to be a great weekend unless you want to see Halley's Comet. Bruce, that's not going to be too good to see, right?
Well, we've been getting a lot of calls about Halley's Comet, and that's entirely correct. We have a moon out there, and it's difficult to see Halley's Comet anyway. It's no big deal as far as seeing it. It's more of a nostalgic value just to say you saw it. Just a little smudge in the sky, but with that moonlight out there, it's almost impossible to see. Will be so for the next week. And then we're going to be able to see a brightening. In fact, it's going to be at its brightest in the next couple of weeks beyond and into April. However, it's going to be very low on the southern horizon, so then it's going to be difficult for us too. So we're really not in the best ballpark to see it, and so it's been a letdown for a lot of people. So maybe it can save you some sleep tonight by telling you not to get up early in the morning and go out to look for it, because I don't think you're going to have much of a chance of seeing it. Now, especially in northern New England, there are some clouds up there, a few snow flurries at the higher elevations, but warmer air is coming in from the west, and these clouds will ride across northern New England overnight, and there may be a few around tomorrow morning before they clear on out. Coldest weather is in Maine. It's in the mid-40s here in Boston. Same temperature in Burlington, Albany, a little warmer down in Manhattan. Chilly out in the Maritimes, and then to the west we see that warming trend, and not so much so down in Hatteras and Washington, but to the west through Buffalo and Pittsburgh, Detroit, Lexington, Kentucky, Chicago, 63. It's summer-like out there right now. Moving northward into upper Michigan, temperatures are in the 40s right now, and again down in Atlanta, temperature around 60 degrees. We have a frontal system, but it's just a cool front here with a mild to warm air down to the south, and then we have mild air here, and then the cool air across New England. But that cold air out in the Midwest is really very shallow, so it's going to fade by the time it gets here, so it's really going to have no effect on our weather, and most of these clouds should cease to generate. Look at these high temperatures in the west, going right up to Canada, record highs in many of the western cities, nice and warm in much of the country, and spring fever is on the way. So here we go with something to stick in your Easter bonnet. Our forecast for Boston and vicinity calls for clear and cool weather tonight, coolest in the suburbs with a light westerly wind. It'll be out of the southwest at moderate speeds. Tomorrow up near 70 degrees, a beautiful day. Fine flying weather and a high tide at midday. Tomorrow night will be clear and mild, a nice night. Go out and have a good time, and Sunday will be sunny into the mid-70s. I'm going much higher than some of the people I've seen forecasts around. I think it'll hit the mid-70s. There's a shot of a sea breeze right along the coast chilling us off, but generally in the mid-70s here. So we're talking a nice, warm spring fever weekend. I got the fever, you know?
That's right. My daughter's going to love that, searching for all those little eggs that we're going to put out for her.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. 3 weeks to go before the Boston Marathon. Today, marathon officials began calibrating the course to make sure it is exactly 26 miles, 385 yards. David Katz did the work. He rode every inch of the course on a bicycle equipped with a sophisticated measuring device. And he marked each mile with a can of spray paint. That measuring, of course, is especially important this year because the course is undergoing some changes, including moving the finish line from the Prue to a spot near the Hancock, more like down by the public library or so. That's because Hancock Insurance, of course, is sponsoring the race this year.
But of course, we will be there at the race no matter how they've changed the course. Bob Lobel is on vacation tonight, but Harvard is going to the National Hockey Championship Finals.
They win against Denver.
Oh, good for
They're
them.
in the finals.
Okay.
Terrific, and a great score they had, too, tonight. Also in sports, we will go live to Providence for, we'll see highlights of Harvard's NCAA bid. And the Celtics crushed the Bullets. Boy, Bill Walton had a great night tonight. All that's still ahead. Stay with us.
nobody but nobody helps you grow a lawn the way Scott's does. So if you want a lawn this green, this thick, this weed-free, this is what you should use. Scott's. We grow better every year.
Introducing the Nissan Hardbody. It would still be the hottest truck in America even if it didn't come with fuel injection and a V6 engine. Even if it didn't have a roomier cab and a bigger, deeper bed. Because it comes with a feature that can save you up to $2,000. That's right, up to $2,000. It's called 7.7% financing. And it makes the hottest truck in America the hottest deal in New England.
We're your New England Nissan men. Yes, we can. Yes.
How would you like to be able to tell your mother where to go?
Barry, no.
I mean, on a trip, on a vacation, to just have the whole thing all set up for a great trip for two to Ireland for a week.
Heaven knows your mother could use the trip.
All you have to do, send a postcard. The name, address, daytime, phone number of your favorite mom to Evenings Mother's Day Irish Giveaway, Post Office Box 400, Boston 02134.
Because they're related to us, our moms are ineligible.
Sorry, Mom, just flowers again this year.
Give your mom a great Irish Mother's Day.
I was a shepherd boy in Sardinia before I came to America. Now I'm going home, to Greece.
The Weaver clan hails from Scotland and Ireland. And now we're all headed home, to Greece.
Greece, the birthplace of Western civilization. That's why every American feels at home in this lovely land. And Olympic Airways will fly you home in style. So America, go home to Greece, where it all began.
This mademoiselle is going home, to Greece.
Now, some people might have been surprised by this. But
Well, you know, they're playing hot right now. They were lucky to get in, and they did it without their best player, Scott Fusco. He got hurt in the first 10 minutes. Tim Smith gets the hat trick. Harvard gets the victory, 5-2 over Denver. They will play Michigan State for the national championship tomorrow night. Bob Newmeyer's in Providence to fill us in on the details of tonight's game. Bobby?
All right, Don, one of the most dramatic hockey games I've seen in a couple of years. Harvard University playing without their star, without their Hobie Baker Award winner who was hurt early on. 3 unanswered third-period goals. They knocked favored Denver right out of the tournament tonight by a score of 5-2, and it was a thing of beauty. All right, first period, Scott Fusco hurts his knee and doesn't come back. Strained knee ligaments. His Harvard career probably over. Will miss tomorrow night, likely. Alan Bourbeau out of Acton gave Harvard a 1-0 lead in the power play. 12:45 first period. But Denver's Dwight Mathiasen shows you why he's a 40-goal scorer. Watch him pick the top corner, tie it up 1-1 after one. But the hero of the night would be Tim Smith. Right off the second period, right off the faceoff, on the power play. Watch this terrific shot by Smith. His 26th goal of the year, picks that top right-hand corner. Harvard leading 2-1. But then Denver shows you why they're very strong as Big Tom Weiss, 6'4", sets up Dave Hansen. That tied it up at 2-2. But then Smith took over again in the power play. 6:31 gave Harvard a 3-2 lead. They'd make it 4-2, and then they get a 5th win in the hat trick. With me, the hero for Harvard, Tim Smith out of British Columbia. The senior scored the hat trick, and I know that it's an emotional night for you. You did it without Scott Fusco, but you did it in front of your dad, who's all the way here from BC, and there was some tears shed, I know, after the game.
Yeah, it was a really special moment for me. It's about the only third time my father's been able to come down and watch me play hockey and that. So we were in his hotel room before the game, and, you know, it was a really special moment. We were both, you know, just starting to shed tears and that. And after I got the first one, I knew there was a few more there, and it was also for my father as well as Chet Stone at Harvard University and Jackie Crane who've helped me over the 4 years at Harvard, and I just have to thank them.
Timmy, you do it without Scott Fusco, and I know he gets a lot of publicity, and you don't resent that. You play in a line with him, you helped him, but I know you have to pull your bootstraps up when the big gunner goes down.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, Scotty's a major factor in our team, and Grant, pulled his socks up, as you say, as well. He's played terrific all year long, and it was super. All 20 or 19 guys after Scotty went down came back fighting, and we were very successful.
Tomorrow night, Michigan State for all the bacon, baby.
Yeah, I got a friend that plays golf for Michigan State, and I shoot on him in the summer, so maybe we'll put a couple more by him tomorrow night.
All right, it's a happy Tim Smith out of British Columbia and a happy bunch of Harvard Crimson. They win at 5-2, Michigan State tomorrow night at 8 o'clock for the National Hockey Championship. How sweet it is. Don, take it away.
All right, Newmy, great job. Red Sox swap designated hitters with the Yankees today. Lefty Mike Easler heads to New York. Righty Don Baylor is coming here. Now, Eastler's average home runs and RBIs dropped last year from his terrific '84 season, but he was having a good spring. Alice Cook was in Winter Haven. She talked with Mike about today's trade.
I have expressed with John McNamara and Lou that if they don't plan to use me on an everyday basis against left-handers, that I would like to move. I really don't want to be taken out late in the ball game when a left-handed reliever comes in. All I have to do is get in my truck and drive to Fort Lauderdale. That's all.
Baylor has more power than Eastler, will also knock in more runs, should love Fenway, and looks like he's going to get a full-time shot.
Right now, my thinking is, yes, I'm going to give him a shot at it. I know he was displeased at having to sit down against right-handers last year in New York, and we'll give it a try.
The fact that last year we were so left-handed, when Lyons is in the lineup, we got 5 left-handed bats in the lineup. We faced a lot of left-hand pitching. By getting Baylor, it now makes us a little bit balanced right and left, and I think we'll not be as vulnerable to left-hand pitching.
Well, Bill Walton gets his first start of the year. He scores 20 points, grabs 12 rebounds. Celts beat Washington 116-97, their 26th win in a row at home. In the first quarter, DJ misses. Look at Walton with the rebound. Around Bull, slams it through and is fouled. Then watch Bird. He has it blocked by Bull. DJ got it back to him, though. Celts up 7. Larry had 27. Look at Bird go after this loose ball. He goes underneath the table and somehow saves it to DJ. He goes to Ainge right side. Watch Danny hit the three-pointer. After that one fell, they were up by 15. Then Seesting wins the race to the ball, gets the layup. They were up by 19. Manute did manage his obligatory slam. How can he miss when he's that close and that tall? But a great pass here. Bird, length of the court to Walton. Perfect layup. Bill got a standing ovation from the crowd when he left the game. Celts got a 19-point victory. In Philly tonight, the Bucks beat the Sixers 116-94. A tough and a short night for this guy, Moses Malone. Watch Randy Brewer poke him right in the eye. And that was it for Moses. Great Barkley basket right there. Hodges grabbed him and he banked it in. Ricky Pierce, 31 points. And the Bucks won by 22. 6-5, by the way. The Red Sox beat the Mets today, and Eastler hit a home run, but now he's gone.
Okay, thank you very much, Don Shane. Have a good weekend, and that is it for this edition of Eyewitness News. We certainly hope you'll have a very pleasant Easter, a good weekend, and a good night, everybody.
Enjoy the holiday. Have a nice weekend. Good night.
How do you clear out every Toyota sedan, wagon, and performance car in stock? You turn your showroom upside down to give the people the deals they want. Upside Down Days is on now at your Toyota dealer. And you'll flip for the great deals on America's #1 selling import cars. Tercels, Corollas, Celicas. Don't think twice. Opportunities like these only honk once. Buy your Toyota car now during Upside Down Days and you'll be head over heels in savings.
When is the best time to stop and shop? When I want everyday low prices every day of the week.
When I want to turn a 50-cent coupon into $1. When you want a deli, even New York would love.
When I want a chicken I can dress for a party.
When I want the best buys in the market. When I want to toss an unusual salad. When I want to race out of the store.
Into $1. It worked! It worked!
Now, when is it time for you to stop and shop?
How about right now? Nothing to it.
Got a big fire. Let's go.
WBZ Radio's Dave Maynard
Hey, wait for me!
is learning firsthand about the award-winning BZ News team.
Gary!
When the news breaks, WBZ Radio is on the scene.
Over here!
Professionals at getting the facts and getting them fast.
Hey, Gary! Will you wait a minute?
The BZ News team on Maynard in the Morning. From the minute you wake,
It's a piece of cake.
WBZ Radio News. Tough to keep up with.
Watch Megabucks live Wednesdays and Saturdays at 9:55.